Welcome to Live Your Passion. I'm your host, Alex Stephen from Life Transforming Treasures. On Live Your Passion, our guests share their stories and challenges and how they embraced and overcame them. Hopefully, you can use some of their wisdoms to help you on your journey. I'm an author, a speaker, and a life transformation coach. You can go to my website, alexstephen.com, for free resources, and you can also download your 7 keys to your dream lifestyle on my website, alexstephen.com. Thanks a lot for watching Live Your Passion. My guest this morning is Danielle Dagba. Welcome.
Thank you,
And
Alex.
please introduce yourself briefly.
Okay. My name is Danielle Dagba, as Alex just said, and I'm so happy to be here. I am a life coach. I am a speaker, an author, and a minister.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate you being here. And I know the topic today is the
right.
title of your book. You could show
That's
the
right.
book. Yeah.
And I am the proud author of this wonderful, my best-selling book, which is my life story, a true story of a Christian woman born to succeed, programmed to fail.
Yeah, so that's what we'll talk about
That's
today.
right.
And I know you mentioned in your 20s you went through some devastating, you were at a point where life was empty for you.
That's right.
Although you thought you were doing all the right things,
That's
having a great job in corporate America, being a great wife and mom,
That's right.
and doing all the spiritual, you were going to church, you were born again Christian.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about your experience at that point in your life.
That's right, Alex. It took me by surprise,
Right.
quite frankly.
Yeah.
And when I found myself in that space where I felt that emptiness, I couldn't understand at first what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, as a Christian, my first resource was, God, what is it? I couldn't understand.
Yeah.
Then that's when I began to ask the deeper questions. I needed to take Christianity or religion to a whole other level,
Yeah.
right? For me to begin to understand what was happening at the soul level.
Right.
Because up until that point, I didn't know it then, but I was very superficial in my walk with God. Yes, I was meeting those requirements. I was involved in ministry. My husband, we had led the Haitian ministry, the single ministry. When we got married, we even led the married ministry. So for me, and especially meeting my religious requirements, those were deep goals for me. You understand? So then when that happened, yes, I had to ask the deeper questions.
Deeper question, what's causing this?
What's causing this emptiness?
Yeah. So what happened? Tell us what were the answers that came to you?
And the first answer that came to me is, Danielle, you have to move from religion to spirituality.
Right.
And I had to understand that for me to understand what was happening at the soul level up to that point, I needed to deepen my relationship with God.
Right.
When I began to ask God what was happening, then that's when some of the past painful events that happened to me in my life growing up, back home in Haiti, sexual molestation, that event started to resurface. Though I thought, as a born-again Christian, my sin, Jesus took my sin and I was doing all the right thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was dealt with, that came with the package, right?
Yeah.
And even being raped in college on campus, I thought that was taken care of. He took it upon the cross. But God had to take me to a level of understanding of what happened when past emotional events are not dealt with spiritually and in getting healed properly.
Right.
How you can suppress it, you can cover it, but that does not mean that it doesn't need to be healed. Doesn't mean that it's gone.
But it hurts you more when you try to suppress it and deny it, as you experience.
Then I mean, it was this emotional turmoil. I was like, where did that come from?
Where did that come from? Yeah.
But then I understand that that girl that was molested is asking to be released, is asking to be free.
Yeah.
And I had to confront Danielle at that phase of her life. And I had to confront this 19-year-old teenager who also was raped. I had to confront that.
confront and accept the situation.
That it happened.
That it happened. And to say to yourself that it was not your fault.
That was actually the hardest thing to do.
That was the hardest.
Because the way that I had dealt with it and kind of like push it aside was, I must have deserved it, Alex.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how to make sense of it. That's what happens when something happened to you and there's nobody around you. My mother knew, but she didn't have the proper tools, right? So that's what happened. When something happened in your life, I understood that later. And you don't know how to explain it, you find yourself guilty.
Yeah, psychologically it affected you.
I must have deserved it.
Yeah.
I must have called it into being.
Yeah.
I must have done it.
But you did not.
But I did not.
Yeah, so that's some of the things you had to go through, you know, and for the audience to hear,
Right.
is that things happen in life that's not necessarily our fault, but it has a deep effect. You know, how did that make you feel like in school and your self-confidence?
Right. I think when I was younger, the way that I dealt with that primarily, and I had to mention that, I wanted to excel in school. It was kind of weird, but I realized that was one of the way I coped as an adolescent.
Yeah.
I just gave myself into school. That kept that experience to the side.
Yeah, you kept busy.
I kept busy.
Yeah.
And I carried that even after I had gotten married. I carried that through. I kept busy, Alex. Because I mean, God forbid I sat down with myself and examined what really happened, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to. Part of my soul was not ready.
Yeah. But once you accepted what had happened, this is real, this is what happened, wasn't my fault, I want this to be healed.
That's right.
Right? So it had a lot of negative effects on you psychologically.
It did.
You know, keeping busy, doing a lot of things, not really enjoying, you know, life, so to speak. And how did it affect your health?
Psychologically, I felt like I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I felt like I was going through life and I was meeting different requirements. You understand? But Danielle was not into what Danielle was doing.
Right.
Because I couldn't get in touch with my authentic self, my authentic joy, my innocence. I couldn't get in touch with her.
Yeah.
Psychologically, I felt I was invisible. You know, emotionally, I think how I handled that, I started to eat. I turned to food, carbs, you know, sugar.
Comfort food.
Comfort food. You know, I developed a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
You know, so emotionally, I dealt with it that way, and that affected how I viewed myself. If I don't like myself, I don't like what I have. I couldn't appreciate my body.
Yeah.
So therefore, I didn't care about giving it the cleanest food. You understand? It affected my relationships because I'm not open with myself. I felt like I couldn't be open.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to be open. You understand? So a lot of my relationships were superficial. A lot of it was trying to do the right thing so you could like me enough.
Fit in.
Exactly. Approval addiction, being a busybody, low self-esteem, poor self-image. I remember there were times when, if you asked me what your favorite color is, I wanted somebody to tell me what my favorite color was. If I was going out to eat at a restaurant, you tell me what I should eat. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
The self-esteem level.
Really, really tough. But then you decided that you wanted this to heal. You wanted your life to change. So tell us a little bit about that transition. What were some of the things, how you brought about that change?
I realized, Alex, I had never done anything for Danielle, and it was kind of sad. I had done, you asked me for something, I'd go above and beyond, which is, I understand later, it was the low self-esteem. You know, I'll do extra. My boss asked me to stay late, I'll stay late, right?
Yeah.
I'll do things outside of my duties. And I was always doing for other people. So I decided I will do for me, Alex. I decided I will love me, I will embrace me. I decided that there's something great inside of me. I wanted to take the word of God for what for what it says about me.
Right.
That I'm made in the image and likeness of God, that beauty lies within me, that prosperity lies within me, there's good in me. I couldn't have fathomed the idea that I'm good, I'm beautiful, because for the past 2 decades at that time, the personality of I am not good enough had ruined my life, had caused me to not see me, to not see gifts, talents.
Yeah.
You said, Danielle, you could speak. Danielle, you can inspire young people. You can help women heal. I would not believe you.
Believe that.
There's nothing good. I felt like trash. When somebody touched you sexually, you feel like trash. You feel like dirt.
Yeah.
You feel like you're the worst of the sinners. You understand? And the rape on top of it, I was doomed. I was done.
Yeah.
And because I couldn't see my value, Alex, I attracted men who took advantage of me.
Yeah.
Because what is the message I was sending? I'm not good enough.
Yeah, that
you
was
understand?
your belief. Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't saying it.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. Come use me.
Yeah.
But emotionally, that's the message I was sending out. Because I didn't love myself.
That was a vibration.
So I decided to love myself, Alex. It took quite a bit of inner work.
Yeah.
But I said I need to give back to myself if I want to reach my purpose in life.
And at that point, you were married.
I was married.
You had 2 children. You had a good job in corporate
That's
America.
Right.
You were spiritually involved.
That's right.
A born-again Christian.
That's right.
So there was a lot going on for you.
That's right.
So tell us how your husband was involved, the support that he gave you.
Alex, it's such a blessing.
Yeah.
And I thank God for knowing who needs to be in this journey with you. And I feel like if I had married, there were 2 occasions, Alex, because of my past wounds, that I almost attracted the wrong guy. You understand? But I remember at the time when I was praying for Alan, Alex, I said, Lord God, match me up with the mate that would allow me to fulfill my purpose. I remember that prayer. And I knew God healed me. You know when you pray and you know God heals you?
Yeah.
So when I met Alan, the same day I met him, I knew something in me, my spirit told me that was the man I was going to marry. But because of his spiritual background, because of his own spiritual work with God, because of his spiritual maturity, he understood what I was going through, Alex. He was actually the first person that I actually said I was raped. I would have never said it.
You always hid that.
Yes.
Put it in the back burner.
But he created the loving atmosphere, the acceptance that I needed to be able to say that to him.
Yeah.
And God's wisdom through him, and God's patience, and the Christ love that he embodies allow me to go to my healing.
But you made the decision to change, to heal.
That's right.
You made the commitment.
That's right.
Right, that you will go through this journey to heal.
That's right.
You accepted what happened to you.
That's right.
So those are key words. Those are key events. You know, acceptance, commitment, making the decision,
That's right.
and asking for help.
That's
you
right.
asked for help when you prayed,
That's right.
and your prayers were answered when you met Alain.
That's right.
And he says the same thing about you. He said when you guys met, I think you guys danced or somewhere was an event. He said that was it. So that's pretty good that it's mutual.
That's right. That's right.
So you went through a lot of pain, and then you also went through a lot of healing.
That's right.
You know, and Alain supporting you is really a blessing.
That's
to
right.
have a spouse like that, because if they're not, then it makes it more difficult for you. You probably could heal, but it'll be a harder process, a harder journey. So that's good. What else you did in terms of the healing, and you know, share with the audience how you overcame that pain.
That's right. I did a spiritual fast. I mean, I've always fasted, but that particular fast had an assignment, a particular assignment. I needed to heal, and I needed to get in touch with Danielle. So I did a spiritual fast, and then I started to journal a lot, Alex. There's just something very therapeutic about putting your thoughts in paper, in writing. Whether it was a scripture that I was going through, whether I would journal about it, whether it was how my day went, Whether it was some type of incidents or events that happened recently, I will talk to God about it in my journal. So I did a spiritual fast in the beginning, and I kept journaling throughout the healing process. And I was blogging. I started to blog. As I was going through different steps of my healing, I kept a blog. It was called Divine Peacefulness at the time. And I started to help other women, some of my friends, into the process. It was very personal, overcoming low self-esteem, understanding your authentic voice. I would talk about some of the steps that I was going through in my healing process. And that felt really, really good. Well, such a sweet reward of going through the process.
And releasing all that stuff and helping other people with the information.
Absolutely.
How long was your fast?
I did about 21-day fast.
Yeah, 21 day. So you could do different fasts. There's no, you could do a 1-day fast and get results. The thing is, you know, I tell people abstaining from food and you having a hunger for God, you really have a spiritual feast.
That's right.
That's the way I look at it. And I love fasting. It really, it's between you and God. You don't have to tell people, but when you get the results, you really want to share with people so that they can help themselves in whatever situations they're in. There anything else, you know, and how you overcame? I know you did a lot in terms of spirituality, working with Arlene and him being a spiritual coach, and you know, the blogging, the journaling, talking to people. Anything else on how you overcame?
Absolutely. A lot of self-love. It is funny, Alice, you will think, oh, I love myself, right? I take care of myself. Yeah, I feed myself. I make sure I have all the necessary needs. But self-love, the practice of self-love, self-embrace, just spending time, almost all those years when I was putting myself low, when I was saying negative things to myself, I needed to use the Word of God and positive statements about me to get in touch with Danielle as good as love. So applying the Word of God, creating statements of truth. I am God's child. I am God's loving child. I needed to say those things because a part of me needed to heal from all the negativity and all the things that I had believed erroneously about myself. So self-love, spending time. And that means sometimes, Alex, I would just sit in front of a mirror and I would just say, Danielle, you're wonderful. Danielle, you are powerful. Danielle, you are insightful. Danielle, you are good. I would just say those things to myself. The way a mother will say this thing to a child. I had to mother myself. Reprogram. And I spoke about it. I spoke about it in the book.
You had to reprogram yourself.
How to start doing that.
And you know, sometimes in life we have to do it ourselves. Sometimes we, you know, it's natural. You feel sorry for yourself and you have this pity party and you think somebody gonna come and save you. But you have to take this step. You have to step out of your comfort zone and you have to look for help. You look for help with Alain praying to God and deciding to do a fast and making all these adjustments in the way you live life and realizing that you need to love yourself first before anyone else could love you.
That's so true.
And something powerful you said, you know, people say, well, okay, they think they could put on this, you know, outside sort of image, but people pick up on your vibration.
They do.
And you said it very clearly that you were attracting the wrong men, the wrong relationships. You didn't tell them, you know, I wanted this, abuse me or treat me bad, but they picked up on that. But when you have that self-love and that self-confidence and that self-esteem, people will feel it, just your energy. They'll see it in your body language. They will hear it in your tone of voice, and they will treat you accordingly.
Absolutely.
So the reprogramming, that making the decision to change and asking for help is very powerful.
But I realized, Alex, I mean, my husband loved me and my children love me. I have good friends. Though I had a loving environment, but because I didn't love myself, it wasn't sinking in. It wasn't sinking in. It's like you're trying to pour into an empty vessel. you know. But when I started to love myself, when I received other people's love, it just felt complete, you know.
Because you cleanse yourself of that pain
That's
and that,
right.
you know, guilt, which
right.
wasn't any of your fault.
That's
I'll say
right.
it over and over. Wasn't your fault, but then it becomes your duty, really, to get rid of it.
That's right.
And it's tough. It's not easy. Nobody say it's easy.
It wasn't easy.
It wasn't
Alex.
easy.
There were times when I was wailing and I was crying, but it's because those old personalities were leaving. They were leaving my body. They were leaving my brain. They were leaving my soul. It's like it's painful. Because those personalities were attached to me for over 2 decades, right? Now I say, you need to get out. Danielle need to be born. So they were clinging, and I was like, no. It was definitely painful, but it was a sweet pain.
Sweet pain.
It was a
because
sweet
the
pain.
reward was sweet.
The reward was sweet.
The reward was sweet. So it's not easy, but it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah. And you said you lost like 60 pounds in the transition. Did you do anything specific, or just the way you change your thoughts and how you love yourself and treat yourself? Did it all come naturally?
You know what, Alex, what I noticed? The minute I started to love myself, it was natural to love my body. I didn't have to force myself. I wanted to know. I would get a book, you know, I would do a research, because now I love myself. And myself is my body. And I understand it's so beautiful now. It's not dirty because it was being touched, right? I loved it and I embraced it, and I naturally wanted to eat healthy. Naturally will go for the cleanest foods around. It comes. It just flows. It just flows. That's why I offer a conscious a wellness program where I don't just pour food and say, just eat this, eat that, exercise. I said, you know, when I take a group of women to my wellness program, I detox their mind. Right? I give them a spiritual fast. I ask them the deeper questions, because if there are personalities that are attracting bad foods, you may say to them, don't eat that, don't eat that. That's just periodically, it doesn't work.
Work for 2 weeks or a short period of time.
That's right.
Then you fall back. So again, you got to reprogram. You got to have that mindset shift.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's pretty powerful. So we talk about your pain, the things you went through, pretty deep, you know, sharing your personal story and how you overcame them.
That's right.
So now you're at a space where, you know, you wrote this book with your, you know, your personal story, which takes a lot of courage to come out with your personal story, as deep as that. And you're doing coaching, you're doing webinars. So tell us the space you're in now, the new Danielle, so to speak.
Thank you, Alex. I've made it my life commitment to help other women also get in touch with their authentic self. To help them identify the you of the past doesn't have to be the you of the future. That you don't have to allow your past pain cause you to miss the mark of your destiny. You know, there is more in you that you have not tapped into. And then it's time to pour back into yourself, especially women, because we give out so much to our children, we give out so much to our community, our church environment, and a lot of times we can use that to cover up some of the deeper things that we are dealing with emotionally. So now I make it my life purpose, right? I believe it's a divine calling, Alex, to help women get in touch with their authentic self. And you're doing webinars, you're doing coaching, and you're a minister too. So tell us a little more about those things, how you're giving back and helping. So every month I put an emotional healing webinar where I take women to 3 specific steps. Step number 1, embracing who you are. Step number 2, loving who you are. And in those different steps, I'll help them recognize the events, who were involved in those events. If they need to release themselves, I'll take them through the practice of stillness and meditation. Deep. Because a lot of times it's in that silence that God speaks. And besides that, I minister. You know, my husband and I, we have our home ministry. And my message, whether I'm ministering, whether I'm hosting a webinar, whether I'm doing a seminar or conference, my message is the same. You know, you are worth it. There's something that lies within you. The world is waiting for you to tap into your authentic self and express that.
And it's so powerful. You know, I heard someone said the experiences we go through in life, our stories,
That's right.
are not really for us to keep to ourselves.
That's right.
We need to share those stories to help other people on their journey.
That's right.
And that's what we do at Live Your Passion, is to bring people who are willing to share their stories, how they overcame them, and help people in whatever situations or challenges
That's right.
they're going through in life. So, you know, you're doing a lot to give back, especially to women. And I know you're affecting also men in your audience and congregation, and speaking and doing things with our lane. So that's very powerful. You reach to the point now where you live in your passion. You found your purpose in life, so to speak.
Yes.
We never get, you know, we never finish or get there. But, that's how life is. We always want more. We always think we could improve. But the thing is, you have moved a great distance from where you were.
That's right.
You know, that pain, that abuse, that low self-esteem, things that were beyond your control, so to speak. And you found a way through asking.
That's right.
And you know, and I tell people, asking for help is a sign of strength.
That's right.
It's not a sign of weakness.
That's right.
And in your case, you decided to sacrifice by fasting
That's
and
right.
asking God.
That's right.
And on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, from Togo, you got Alain. You know,
That's
and
right.
it's such, for lack of a better term, a perfect match.
That's right.
Yeah. So, you know, it's all good. And the thing I like most about your story is how you've given back.
That's
That passion that you have. And, you know, it's not something like you took a course or you read a couple books and now you coaching people on this. It's what you went through.
That's right.
And that's where
It's
powerful
real.
coaches come from.
That's right.
You know, because they could relate and they could support and help people and guide people. Like you said, when you talking to the woman about changing the way they eat, you don't give, people don't like directions.
That's right.
They want to know, you know, how could it benefit me?
That's right.
And one of the things I like what you said is you got to change their mindset first.
That's right.
You know, the way they think, find out where they are.
That's right.
Because if you don't know where you are, you can't get where you want to go.
Absolutely.
Right? Because if you want to go to Miami and you don't know if you're in New York or Buffalo or California, you're not going to get there. You might end up in Canada. So that's key. So really great story.
Thank you.
You know, touch on some really key points: commitment, acceptance, making the decision, asking for help and turning things around. Really, really powerful.
That's right.
So I'll ask, is there anything else you would like to share with us? Anything you think you missed out that you want to share, or any nuggets you want to leave with the audience?
Sure. This is what I want to say. If you're watching this and perhaps you're in a place in your life where you felt what I felt about a few years ago, you feel like something is missing and you're not living your life to its fullness, right? And this is what I want to tell you. Do not be afraid to ask the deepest questions. Do not be afraid to confront that situation, that painful event, or a current situation. Because let me tell you, the truth that you say to yourself is the truth that will save you. So be authentic to yourself, listen to yourself, and also decide to put yourself first. And I always say this, Alex, it's the only time it's okay to put yourself first, when you're doing it to heal your life and to fulfill your life purpose. You matter. You matter. And it's time to heal your life.
Yeah, it's time to heal. And you know, when you heal yourself and you're a better person, you could give back more.
That's right.
You could help more. So, you know, that's the way I look at it.
That's right.
So thanks very much for gracing us with your presence,
My
sharing
pleasure.
your personal story. Really, really appreciate it. And how could people get in contact with you if they want to reach you?
That's right. You can go to DanielleDagba.com. I'm also on Facebook, Speaker Danielle.
Yeah, so people could reach you if they
That's
want
right.
to. And what I like to do on the show is my book, Courage in Our Hearts, Our Family's Love Story. I like to share it with my guests. So there's
Thank
your
you.
personal copy.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And what I also like to do is read the quote of the day. And the quote for today is, "The defining factor for success is never resources, it's resourcefulness." Tony Robbins.
I like that.
So that's the...
I really like that.
Yeah, that's the quote of the day. And this is from Inspirational Life Quotes, a collection for your daily motivation, a compilation that I did. And a couple other books I just want to show here is IP Goals Made Easy, that my wife and I wrote, and Discover Your Inner Treasure, which is a accompaniment action guide to Courage in Our Heart. So it could be used by itself. All our books are on Amazon. So thanks again for joining us. I'm your host, Alex Stephen. My website is alexstephen.com. You can go there for free resources. And also, if you want to contact me, you could contact me at info@alexstephen.com. Thanks again, and see you next time on Live Your Passion.
You're watching Medfield TV, community shows.